All right, Scott, another event, the last one of 2020. Alimale McFarland's back. Flyweight titles being defended. The last champion, I believe, to defend their title. So how excited are you to be able to kind of close out 2020 with a big fight in Alimale?
Well, as excited as we are to be here, really this fight was scheduled to be in Honolulu this week. I know my staff is extremely disappointed that we're not all in the Blaisdell Center in downtown Honolulu and in Waikiki Beach hanging out. But, because of COVID, we're here. But I'm excited because this is a fight of undefeated ladies. And I'm telling you, when you're undefeated, you're not used to losing, right? So you have a lot on the line. And, this is going to be the toughest test to date, I think, for both girls. So looking forward to a great fight. This is going to be a great matchup. And I think that even on the boards, it's all even. Across the boards, it's all even. So it's going to be a toss-up. I think that both ladies are going to have their hands full.
Yeah, for sure. And the 125-pound division is looking pretty good right now. You got the two great records at the top of the card with the O's. But talk about this division a little bit, because I feel like you have a couple contenders waiting. So it's really one that I think is kind of on the rise. I think there's a lot of great fights coming up for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stacked division. We just signed a new girl from Ryzen, from Japan, Kana Watanabe. She's an Olympic judo medalist. No, I'm sorry, she's an Olympic judo qualifier, so she's got extremely great judo technique. She fought last year in the Ryzen show against Bellator, and she beat one of our Brazilian girls. So we kind of cut my eye a little bit, and she's been working on her striking over there, and she's doing, she's working on her complete game. So to me, we had an opportunity to sign her through Ryzen, so we made a deal. And then, with Liz Kermich, we're looking forward to having her fight soon and get back and just mix this whole division up, because it is a stacked 125-pound division.
Yeah, and you talk about Kana. I'm assuming that fight that you saw her fight when she took on Joanne for you guys,
right.
Was not, I don't want to say a tryout, but that was a showing that really caught your eye?
Yeah, that was the one that said, this girl I thought was in trouble a little bit on the striking, at that time. But when it got to the ground, she showed her dominance and her execution. And she's a skilled, you talk about Olympic level judo, practitioner of martial arts. So that's another rare breed. You talk about Olympic level judo, Olympic level wrestling, world class jiu-jitsu, right? A Muay Thai champion, kickboxing champion. Those are the kind of fighters that we want here in Bellator. And she fit the mold, and we're going to give her a great opportunity here.
It's awesome. A little bit of breaking news there. And talk to me too. You're bringing up all these names. Is this going to be the division that has the tournament, the Grand Prix going forward, or do you think that? I know you brought up men's bantamweight too, and Alimale, when I talked to her yesterday, she said nobody wants to see men's bantamweight. Kind of kidding around, but what do you think? What do you think?
You know what? I'll tell you, it's really not decided yet, and it's something that we'll go back over the holidays, and we'll figure that out, because right now we have some time, because the Pitbull fight, which with Sanchez, is going to be amazing, and then the winner of that fight will fight AJ McKee, which will be another amazing fight no matter who wins. And so that tournament's going to go into probably, say, the second quarter, right? Early second quarter before it's finished. So we have some time to figure it out. But I think that, the 135-pound men, 125 female, I think those are the two strongest candidates, but it just hasn't been decided yet.
Yeah, for sure. And talking about signings, you guys made some big news this morning. Rumble Johnson, kind of out of left field. I think it surprised a lot of people. Can you talk to me about how that came together, and how excited are you to have him on the roster?
I don't want to talk about the details of how it all unfolded, but I will say I'm very excited to have him on board here, because here's a guy that always will bring it, right? And so I've never seen him in a boring fight. And, it's been, 2 or 3 years since he fought? So I think we're going to get a brand new AJ. But his fighting style is something I've always really respected and enjoyed watching. I just chatted with him on the phone a couple minutes ago, welcoming him aboard. And all these rumors started flying even before we had the signed contract. So I was like, I told my guys, you better get the contract signed, because it's already out there. But anyway, when you get a fighter like that, of that quality, and it has, a lot of upside, you put him in our 205-pound weight class. Yeah. Come on, it's the best 205-pound weight class in the planet. So to me, it's just going to add a lot of great fights in that division, and I'm looking forward to getting him in there and just start mixing it up and let these guys fight it out.
Yeah. Have you talked to him at all? I think a lot of people thought he was going to come back at heavyweight. So there's pictures of him. He's weighing 270, 280 in some of them. So have you taled to him at all about the weight? He's pretty comfortable about getting back down to 205?
Yeah, I think if you see pictures of him recently, they said that he's going to be comfortable fighting at 205. And if he wants to fight at heavyweight, we'll give him that opportunity as well. But I think 205, we have some great matchups for him, and we're gonna let them all rumble it out, because these guys, you talk about the best 205-pound weight class fighters in the planet. Nemkov, to me, it's just an amazing talent. And when you think about Phil Davis, I think about Corey Anderson. I think about Machida. I think about Rumble. I think about, there's so many great fighters. When we start mixing this division up, and Nemkov will probably fight Phil first, and then we'll start mixing it up from there.
Yep. So you think Rumble will probably take a fight before he would get any type of title opportunity?
Yeah, I would think so, because he's probably going to want to fight a couple fights because he hasn't been fighting. So to me, I think that give him a couple fights, and then if he wins, sky's the limit.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of free agents here, and I'm sure you've been asked quite a bit recently about Yoel Romero departing from the UFC, and it seems like there's a little bit of conflicting information out there. ESPN said you guys didn't seem particularly interested. You get Malky Kawa tweeting that that's not true. So I'm just curious from your stance, can you maybe clarify what's going on there?
Yeah, listen, we got a call from their agent, and originally we just passed, and said, okay, if you look at our roster and how many fighters we have on this roster, how many fights we're going to do, there's only so many TV spots, and we've kind of gotten away from signing like the OGs that we used to sign back in the day, and that's because guys like AJ are coming up, Alima's developing into a main event fighter, and we've basically built from the bottom up, and we have a lot of great fighters that are on the roster that we've built over the last 4 to 5 years. And we were kind of heading in a different direction. So I'm happy with the way the roster is right now, not adding anybody. It's just when you get a fighter, like Corey that's available, we grab them. Fighter like AJ that's available, we grab them. So we're going to pick and choose and be very picky, because I really am very happy with the way the roster sits right now.
Okay. And I heard you say you initially passed. Has there been talk since then, or is that just?
There's been dialogue, but they have a lot of fighters that we have on their side that we have on our roster. So there's always dialogue, and listen, the dialogue will always be open. And things change quickly in this sport, so you never know. But the initial thought was, I talked to my guys, and they felt it was better for us to pass.
Yep. And another kind of moving away from free agents, the Mike Tyson fight recently, it had a name drop of a Bellator fighter, Dylan Dennis, getting called out by Jake Paul. And I know this whole celebrity or YouTube celebrity boxing thing's kind of interesting. Is that something that you would ever entertain, a partnership to put on a fight like that?
Believe me, those calls have been happening for a year.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm sure Dillis would love to fight him. But my only thought, again, is like, why does the guys always have to go to boxing? Why don't you come to MMA?
Yeah.
Why don't you test your skills here as a complete fighter? As a mixed martial artist. If they're willing to do that, maybe it's 1 for 1. Maybe we sign a 2-fight contract. We'll let them go do boxing and come back and do MMA. Then I think that's a little bit more appealing for us. But never say never, and a lot has to do with what Dylan wants to do. But he's gung ho. He's all for it. These guys have been barking at each other for 2 years now, and I'm sure at some point it will happen. What does it look like? I don't know, but I'm sure at some point something will happen. Whether we do it or they, end up in a parking lot somewhere, it's gonna happen. So, we'll see.
And let's round it out with this. I'm not overlooking tomorrow night's event, but is there anything you can tell us about 2021, when we can expect to see you guys back? Are you guys starting to lay out the schedule at all, any sort of timeline?
Yeah, we are starting to lay it out. I would say, look for an announcement in the next couple of weeks, but I think, you could probably put on your calendar end of January, beginning of February.
Okay, great. Well, good luck tomorrow night with the event, and appreciate the time.
Tune in. It's going to be great. CBS Sports, it's at 10 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be in a main event. It's going to be a rock'em sock'em fight, so I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.